Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Sexy Sundays, where we answer your questions on sex, relationships, spirituality, and...
masturbation.
What?
She knew I was going to say that because we already did this once. And
we just rambled and we have no more...
Yeah, so now it's time to... we are going to talk a little... We're going to answer a question on masturbation, but not yet.
Not yet.
We're going to talk about cords first.
Yes. You guys had a lot of questions about the cords that we mentioned in our last video, how to cut cords from past lovers, as well as parents, mother, father. As we said, the mother umbilical cord was necessary at one time in our lives. We needed our parents to feed us and literally for survival, but unless there's a conscious separation that we create, a conscious cutting of cords, they can energetically still be there.
Right. So do you want me to talk about how to cut them? Yeah. So I think last week we covered a little bit of how cords get connected. We get intertwined in relationship like a ball of yarn, and we don't know who is who, whose stuff is what. We're so wrapped up in the other person's story that our story gets convoluted in there. You know that you have cords connected to you if you're psychically connected to another, or if they do something or you do something, you're kind of, there's a lot of turmoil. So the more you're wrapped up in somebody else's story, the more likely you're going to have a cord connected to them, even after you separate. If you have sex with another, likely you're going to have a cord connected to that person. Yeah. So how do we cut those? So the first, a lot of times a novice will just go, okay, I'm just going to cut the cord and I'm done. That is an aspect of the whole piece, but let me walk you through maybe a step-by-step. You become aware that you have a cord connected. Let's say it's an ex-partner or an ex-lover, and you are consciously declaring, I no longer want this cord. So you step into sacred space. You claim sacred space. You call in your angels. You call in your guide. You call in your support system of love, light, and oneness.
It'll be unique to everyone. You know, light your candle. However you come into a sacred.
Claim your sacred circle. So when you're doing sacred shifting, energetic shifting, you want to be in a sacred space. Shamans will call in the 4 directions. So once you call in your support system of love and light, then you get really clear of what you're cutting, who you're severing a unhealthy cord connection with. Okay, that doesn't mean you're necessarily severing the relationship. That may be the case, but you're severing the unconscious connections. Okay, and then you can use just a hand, or you can use an energetic knife. You want to grab that knife down there that I have?
Holy moly, this thing's crazy!
Hold on. So, this is my energetic knife cutter. It's not used for anything except for energetics, and it's not a sharp knife.
It's totally dull.
So, it's except the point. So, if you're going to use a knife, you want to make sure that it's never been used to open and cut into blood, okay, into meat. So, it's a very clean knife. So, when you're cutting, you want to find where it is in your field. So when you think of that person, you may discover that there is a knot in your belly or in your neck whenever you think about that person. Or, you describe this person as, whenever I see so-and-so, he's such a pain in the neck. That's a direct sign that it may be connected to your neck, okay? Whether you know it or not, you're going to find it in your field just by going, okay, when I think of this person, what do I feel first? Where do I feel it? Go there. Trust that that's the spot. And the universe aligns with a inner guidance system, so it'll show you. You will know. So let's say it's at the chest because it's easy to see. So what I do is I'm just going in. My intention is just seeing it like a rope or a cord, and I see that other person. And then before I cut it, I do a very clear declaration. My intention with this is to cut this cord, this energetic cord of unhealthy connection, unhealthy communication, unconscious interaction with Joe, whoever it is. Okay, so if I'm cutting a cord with Joe or cutting a cord with Jill, then I declare, what am I cutting? What am I severing here? And then I can do it really simply, gently with a knife, And it's just like pulling, yanking, and really seeing that cord cut and releasing it to the universe. And you may see that that person wants to reattach it. So if you see in your visuals that that person wants to reattach it, one way to set up that is really declaring in your field, this person is no longer invited in my field. I make a very clear and conscious decision to not step into their field and intrude on them, nor do I choose to invite them in, nor do I create a boundary from them entering and intruding on my field. So once you create that boundary consciously, another way to do it is just visualize a mirror going where that is. So if they do try to reconnect in, usually they try to do it at the same spot. It'll be reflected back.
And a lot of it's unconscious. The other person typically doesn't know a lot of the time that it's not like someone's going, I'm going to try to connect in. It's just totally unconscious, right. Ego patterns, like, you know.
All the things that we're doing to harm another person, judge another person, intertwine our story with another person, those are ways that cords can get connected. Yeah. So we're severing it, being very conscious about creating that severance, and then once we've declared and redeclared and claimed our field, then it's an opportunity to really go into any of the unconscious patterns of how you were connecting and allowing this cord to be there. So how are you moving unconsciously with that person? Take responsibility. Ask for forgiveness for that. Shift that. Ask for the support by Spirit to shift that form of relationship. And if you're catching yourself after that, continuing in unconscious forms of connection, you then get to sit again and redeclare this. This can be a redeclaration daily. I realize that I'm still in my mind connecting to this person, opening up doorways for this person to come back in. Oh, he called me last week. Maybe I'll let him, if he does this and that. That's allowing a doorway for him to reconnect, or you reconnecting. Okay?
I'd say that's probably the most important piece in my own experience, to continuously track what my mind is going towards. So really being energetically clean with thoughts. So in other words, if you find yourself in a loop, thinking about this person and what are they going to do, what's going to happen, that to me is a sort of trespassing psychically on that person's space. And not only that, it's literally serving as a drain out of my own energy field, I don't even use, totally. I don't use a sword, right, to be honest, so whatever, you don't need the sword exactly. It could literally be as simple as
and done.
And done.
Yep.
Done. It's your intention, and to me, it's like not getting rid of something, but just affirming and declaring my wholeness and my sovereignty and my freedom and my well-being, and trusting that everyone else has the dignity to go through their own processes, and my job is purity and myself and love and my own well-being. So if you are really devoted to self-love and your own well-being and showing up in the world from a whole place, it's really nice to track, whoa, my thoughts are going to that person. Okay, what can I do instead of thinking, which is going nowhere? It's just exhausting and draining. Come home. Okay, be present with what's coming up. Come into sacred space, calm the mind, listen to what's going on inside, and meet one's own needs. Yeah. So with the whole parent thing, I could make like a whole video on that alone.
Right. It's every relationship.
Is the cord cutting thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're cutting the cord. You're redeclaring. In your redeclaration, it's taking responsibility. And in the taking responsibility, you're realizing all the ways that you're either allowing that cord to be connected or you going towards that person. Mm-hmm. All of those things are opportunities to redeclare your own field, take responsibility for your own life, and step out of everybody else's story. So every time that we're trying to save somebody else, we're jumping into their story. So ultimately, what are we saying? After all of that, you're coming into presence.
Yeah.
You're just being present and noticing all of those tendencies and inclinations to step out of presence and into somebody else's story.
And a key thing with emotional feelings that may come up, grief, anger, frustration, any of that, fear, just really allowing those feelings to come up. The easiest way for me is I just always check in. Where do I feel this feeling in my body? I come into my breath, and I just get totally present with the feeling inside. And really thinking about another person is a way of avoiding our own healing and our own freedom, right? So I just check in. Oh man, there's fear here. This is scary. Okay, and then just being with the feeling, honey, I'm here. I'm not leaving, into the body. I'm here and I'm not leaving. And there will probably be a deep relief when, one puts their attention in the inner space and is loyally present, without judgment.
And I think the final thing that I'm going to complete with is it's the loyalty. It's returning to this again and again and again.
Yeah.
So to reiterate, cords can be reconnected just as quickly as you disconnect them, because it's our tendencies in our mind.
Yeah.
So this is a returning and a recommitment. It's a commitment to yourself every day. And you'll notice that shifting. And so it may not happen, it may not remain disconnected after you cut it the first time. It may take a week, a month, longer.
Yeah, and just like any habit, like brushing your teeth, it becomes just natural. Like I'll feel something off, I'm like, woo, done. Like just constantly like clearing, deleting, completing.
All right, perfect.
So should we just leave it at that?
I think that's good. If you have more questions, you can let us know.
We have a second question.
Okay.
So we'll make a second video.
Okay.
Yeah.
So ciao for now. Much love. Namaste.
Ciao.